Hello, this is the Bible in Fewer Words. You're joining Carol and Steve Wells. This is episode 5, Sodom and Gomorrah, Genesis 19. 2 angels came to Sodom. When Lot saw them, he said, "Come to my house, wash your feet, and spend the night. Then tomorrow you can be on your way." But the angel said, "No thanks, we'll sleep in the street." But Lot insisted, and they went with him. He made a feast and unleavened bread, and they ate. So, what do we think of that, Steve?
Well, maybe first we should say that in the previous episode we had God and Abraham walking toward Sodom, and Abraham was trying to talk God out of killing everyone in Sodom. He knew what he was going to do, so he tried to talk him out of it. So he eventually got him to agree that if he could find 10 good people in Sodom, he wouldn't kill everyone in Sodom. And then they just split up, and we don't know where they went.
So God left, Abraham went back home.
Yeah, maybe God went back to heaven or whatever, but it sounds like now we've got 2 angels that have arrived at Sodom, and they've gone home with Lot.
Okay, and it looks like here they're saying they just want to sleep in the street.
Yeah, I don't know why they're reluctant to go home with Lot, and the thing that Lot is doing was supposed to be something that you were supposed to do when strangers came to town. You offered it. They didn't have inns or hotels or anything, so you were supposed to offer people, strangers, a place to stay.
And maybe if these are in fact angels trying to figure out if they can find 10 good men, that they want to be in the street.
Yeah, that could be. Or maybe that's already been done. That scouting mission has already been performed, and they're here for other reasons.
Okay, ssounds ominous.
Aha.
All right, well, are you going to take the next
Sure.
section?
Okay. After dinner, when the angels were getting ready for bed, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came to Lot's house and said to him, "Where are the men who are visiting you tonight? Bring them out to us so we can know them."
I think I learned, and I probably knew before, what no means. So we think they wanted to have sex with them.
Yeah, they wanted to have sex with them. So the men at Sodom wanted to have sex with what appeared to them to be 2 men that were visiting with Lot.
Okay. Yeah, if I were Lot and I knew that that was their intention, that would be kind of scary.
Sure.
So Lot said to them, "I have 2 virgin daughters. I will bring them out, and you can do whatever you'd like to them. But don't do anything to the men who are in my house."
Yeah, so that's interesting, isn't it?
It's pretty awful.
And he's saying, you can't do anything with my guests, but you can have my daughters, my virgin daughters.
And do we know how many kids Lot had?
As far as we know, he only had these 2 daughters. He didn't have any sons.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay, so, if my dad was offering me to a, crowd that wanted to rape me, I would not be too excited about that.
Yeah. It doesn't say how they reacted to it, because before they could, we can go on and see what happens.
The next section is, the angels blinded the Sodomites and said to Lot, "Gather your family and belongings and leave Sodom, because we are going to destroy it." Lot said to his sons-in-law, "Get out of here. God's going to destroy this city." But they thought he was joking. One of the angels said to Lot, "Run for your life. Don't look behind you. Escape to the mountain, or you'll be consumed." So Lot and his family left Sodom, while God rained fire and brimstone on Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, well, that is a mouthful.
Yeah, the first thing that's interesting is that Lot has 2 virgin daughters who are married.
Oh, yes, they are married.
And the sons-in-law don't believe him when he says that we have to leave town. He thinks they're just joking.
They don't go with him.
Just Lot and his family, his wife and his 2 daughters.
Okay, so they're running out of town.
Right. This is verse 26. But as Lot and his family were leaving, Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. He told Lot not to look back, or the angels did. Don't look back. I don't know if he ever communicated that to his wife or not, or if the angels told his wife, but his wife looked back, and she was turned into a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
No, she's just salt.
So I'm just curious about, did Lot turn back and look to see if his wife was coming?
We don't know. This is all the info. I haven't really condensed this very much. This is pretty much the story, and it doesn't say whether he looked back and saw her. He didn't look back. If he had to look back, he would have been turned into a
That's
pillar
right.
of salt. So no, he didn't look back.
Okay.
He just kept looking forward, going forward with his daughters.
Okay. And we don't have any names for Lot's wife or Lot's daughters.
No, we don't.
All right. That's nice. Okay. So verse 30 is, after God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot lived in a cave with his 2 daughters. One night, the older daughter said to her sister, "Our father is old, but there's no other men to have sex with. Let's get him drunk to preserve his seed." So they got Lot drunk that night, and the older daughter had sex with him. Lot was so drunk he didn't know what happened. The next day, the older daughter said to the younger, "I had sex with Dad last night. Let's get him drunk again tonight, and you can do it." So they got Lot drunk again, and the younger daughter had sex with him. Both of Lot's daughters got pregnant and had baby boys. They are the fathers of the Moabites and the Ammonites. Well, I wouldn't want to read that Bible story to my children before they go to bed at night.
Well, it has an important ending there. This is where the Moabites and the Ammonites came from. The Moabites and the Ammonites are enemies of Israel throughout most of the Old Testament. One of the daughters had a son named Moab, and the other had a son. It wasn't Ammon, but it was something similar.
I think I remember Ben-Amin.
Okay.
Well, I have a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they think that there were no more men to have sex with?
Well, because as far as they could tell, there weren't. There was a lot of destruction going on behind them, and they probably thought it was the end of the world. Everything was being destroyed. And since Lot didn't have any sons, it was incumbent on them to try to find some way to preserve his seed. And since a woman can't really preserve the seed, it's the men that have the seed, So,
Yes.
So they had to get their father drunk in order to preserve his seed. Otherwise, his seed was going to die with him. He wouldn't, because he was old and he didn't have a wife anymore. And so how was he going to have any sons? So they were doing that job for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
So my next question is, how could you get Lot drunk? Because, he got drunk the first time.
Fool me once.
Fool me once, yes. I mean, did he bring his bottles with him as the angels are saying, run, run, go, go, go?
Yeah, it doesn't say whether they brought the wine with them, or maybe it was in the cave when they got there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, somebody left it behind.
A furnished cave. I don't know.
Okay, so we don't know. There's a lot we don't know, and a lot of very weird behavior going on.
This is really about all we know about Lot. He was Abraham's nephew. He came with Abraham when he left Ur, and he came and then they split up because they had so much stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing we know is pretty much this, and that's all we know. He's not mentioned again in the Bible, except for there are things that are said about Lot, and we don't know anything else that he did.
Okay, so he's mentioned as a just and righteous man.
It's always in a positive way. And another thing that I would say about this whole story is that Bible believers are not happy with. I mean, it's a little... You kind of prefer it wasn't in the Bible, I suppose. At least I would if I was a believer. But Jesus didn't feel that way. It was one of his favorite stories. He said that those who didn't listen to his followers when they were preaching, it would be worse for them than it was for the people of Sodom and Gomorrah.
How could it be worse?
I don't know.
So another thing that I'm thinking about is Abraham talking to God. Hey, would you spare Sodom if I could find 10
Yeah.
good men.
Right.
So I guess that determination was made by those 2 men, maybe, who came that night?
I think fairly clearly there was only one good man. So he killed everyone, the men, women, children, babies.
Okay, well, that's about all I can take of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you for staying with us, and we'll see you next time.